This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let me start with the logistics. We have kind of a light agenda today. Let me walk through the announcements. DJ, you're on to discuss the global summit. And let me go through a couple of the logistics issues. As everybody knows, hopefully as everybody knows, we've moved most of our meetings to the OCP bridge. The second thing is we're really thinking the feedback to the idea of a die-to-die forum has been good. I'm thinking of doing it monthly. Alan volunteered to be do the first one on transceivers. Did I spell it right? No, apparently not. All right. And so I'm looking to get this kicked off. I'm looking for maybe volunteers for the first 3 forums to put something on die-to-die files. So if you have any topic at all related to die-to-die files, and you have the speakers.
Can I suggest one topic? I don't know if we can get hold on them, but GUC apparently is advertising a lot about the silicon interposer die-to-die files. If we know anybody at GUC, I don't.
Shahab, I know their CTO. I can talk to him and see if he's willing to. They have quite a few stuff which I think would be interesting for the community to know.
Yeah, I think they have good stuff on silicon interposer and 3D recently they announced. I think it's good if we get the data.
Yeah, and then they recently did a public announcement on HBM3 integration as well.
Yeah, 7.2 gigs something. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Shahab, on that note, you always had this idea of getting somebody who's presented at ISSCC, right, to come in and do a talk here.
Yeah, let me check. Sure.
Somebody at ISSCC, if we can. So Ravi, you'll do the GUC. I heard it right? GUC.
Yes, I will reach out to GUC. My question is, when do you want? Like which week? Which?
Probably. So since Alan's our buddy, you can either make them GUC go first or second. As soon as we identify all 3, then one Tuesday at 9 a.m. I don't know which one precisely, but I'm thinking it may just after the 4th of July is where my head's at. Either the 3rd week of June, which is pretty soon, or just after the 4th of July.
Okay, I think I'll target it for after 4th of July. That will give them some time.
Let's go for mid-July, the week after, since everybody will be on vacation.
And this will be Friday 8 a.m. Bapi meeting, or is it which meeting are we talking?
Tuesday 9 a.m. Just something on die-to-die files.
Oh, Tuesday 9 a.m. Okay.
Anybody with any other ideas on speakers? I feel like if we can round up a few speakers, then we're in business. And I'm thinking anything related to files, packaging, the design, the some research, anything. But that we need to if we're going to do this forum, we just need to get this on track. Okay, please give this some thought and get to me with some names if you have them. Ideas with topics and names. The third thing is that it looks like we're on track to push the workshop back, the one we wanted to hold on 6/25. We've run into some issues with the POC. There seems to be a resolution path, but we're kind of thinking it makes sense to make sure that we can get the bits to wiggle in the POC boards to talk to one another before before rounding up the workshop, because one of the biggest goals for us with the workshop is to round up and get more fellow travelers in terms of the applications. So as things stand, we're very likely to push the workshop back. But we really want to do an ODSA architecture series and start talk on storage. So this might give us more time to actually get an agenda in place. So we're going to keep the original speakers. If you have some ideas for people who you think should present, please by all means reach out to either Young or Ravi or me, and we can take it from there. Kevin, Young, anything you'd like? I saw Young somewhere. There was one. Looks like you dropped. Okay.
Yeah,
Kevin or Young? Okay. Anything you'd like to add?
no, I mean, we're pushing back, but the goals of the workshop are the same. So please let me know if you have any questions or if you want to participate.
And the idea is storage, but to make it an architecture, domain-specific architecture-oriented workshop. So we want people with ideas in the space, if they'd like to share, they're more than welcome to participate, present. Okay, then the last one is logistics. You should start seeing more traffic from the work groups on the mailing list. And if you're not already on this, please go subscribe to the ODSA mailing list at groups.io. And so I sent out the link layer notes. Hopefully, David and Shahab, I'm hoping you'll get a chance to send out the Bo minutes as well. And JP will send out the Bo test chip minutes. And one of my goals is to sort of scale ourselves. So if you'd like to take minutes for this meeting, volunteer to take minutes, that would be really nice. If anybody wants to take minutes for next week, say for example, I'm in the position of taking minutes and then not being able to send them out because so if you'd like to take minutes for this meeting, that'll be really nice. Make me really happy. But our idea is to move, all the bridges are moved. So if you go to the ODSA wiki, Michael's added. So one of the things, let me show you. So what I'm hoping is, say for example, the link layer, we now have an agenda where 6:17 next Thursday, we're going to start at 8:30 Pacific. Damien from Synopsys will do a overview of the CXL flip structure. So if you're interested, please join. And so what I'm hoping for is broader participation, more awareness, and more cross-pollination. And what Michael has done is he is maintaining this, pretty much all the call information is on our webpage, on the wiki. Okay, that's my list of announcements.
How are you going to keep, meeting minute for each of this sub project?
So basically so right now we have different people keeping minutes. So we've got Shahab has been maintaining minutes for the Bo. JP took minutes last week for the Bo test chip. David Rajkov runs the CDX meeting, so he should send out the minutes. All of them, you should be able to see them on the ODSM mailing list.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby, can you please go back on the site? There was incorrect information, and I'll point. I don't know how to correct that. If you go,
Michael, which one?
So for it says weekly meeting for chiplet
right?
business.
That's right. We need to correct that. You're absolutely right. I think I have everything else. Okay.
And it doesn't call out end user meeting
because it's not open to everyone.
Oh, I see. Makes sense.
All of these other meetings you can join in. So we don't call out the HPI, and maybe we should just have an entry which just says like a private meeting or something. But this call link literally takes you to the join button for that week.
No, makes sense.
Probably the monthly meeting on the FI is not listed here. I don't know if it's a
because I don't have it yet.
Okay, good.
So I was doing it, and then once we have it, so we had this idea of just starting a chiplet monitoring monitoring group, and that didn't take off. So once we have something, I'm going to put that in.
Okay, good. And one comment: should we send out the minutes or just share it on the Google Drive or somewhere? Because I don't want to send basically a spam every week 4 or 5 of them.
I think we should send them out, Shahab. It's not necessarily spam. If we really get a lot of complaints, we can dial it back. But I think it's worth sending them out at least for one quarter to see whether it leads to increased interaction. We
Okay, thank
can dial it back if people are concerned. Ravi, if you wouldn't mind sending the minutes as well when on our group on the ODSA mailing list.
For the business work group,
Yes, please.
Bapi, I'll chat with you offline and then figure out. Okay.
No worries. Sorry, I shouldn't have sprung this on you. My bad. But yes, thanks. Anything else? Anybody would like any questions on the logistics? Anything else? And the calls get recorded, so that's one of the benefits. If you want to catch up, you can go. I don't know that we've added them yet. Ah, yes, they're here. Okay, DJ, would you like to talk about the Global Summit?
Yeah, absolutely. So quick recap on some of the dates. November 9th and November 10th are the 2 dates when we have OCP Global Summits in San Jose, California. And the format is going to be a hybrid format, meaning people are going to have option to connect either face-to-face at San Jose Convention Center in person, or it can be a virtual access as well, where everything is available online. The key dates which all of us here have to kind of keep track of is June 7th, which was a couple of days back. Calls for papers have been opened, which means ODSA team, group, or community should seriously consider submitting abstracts for the Global Summit. What we should plan for Global Summits should be almost like a half a day or a full day track. And I think we can work with the foundation on the side. But the idea is not only we have enough content from the submission perspective, where everyone has submitted their ideas, what they are doing, specific areas like progress in link layer area or die-to-die file, whatever be the case. So we have sufficient volume of submissions so that foundation can easily create a track out of it. And then we'll also work, all of us will work together on creating a holistic track. We should start considering areas like having a panel discussion, which hopefully we can do live, meaning in San Jose Convention Center. So that would be other aspect which we can include in the track. There are enough rooms available. This time around, foundation has blocked enough meeting space, halls, all of that. And at the same time, in terms of physical attendees, we have no idea how the situation will be in November. So it's quite likely that we don't have an issue of having a physical space available. One idea which we were exploring a while back, a couple of months back, was to have some kind of a social event with ODSA, where the night before or the evening before, we block a place in some local hotel, a bar or hotel, where all of us can meet face to face. I think this would be a pretty interesting and welcome opportunity for all of us who have been interacting virtually to finally put faces and actually interact in a physical manner. However, it all depends on each of your company's policies in terms of attendance and all of that. So please start thinking about these things and maybe share some of those thoughts in next couple of calls, so we can think of whether it makes sense to have such an event organized. Because if we don't have sufficient critical mass, then there's no point in doing that. But if there's enough interest, then perhaps we should do that as well. And I don't know, Bapi, one way to pick, feedback from the community could be a very simple, 2-question survey from everyone saying, are you attending? Would you like to have a social event? Yes, no, yes, no. 10-second survey. And if we have more than, let's say, 30 people saying yes to both the questions, then we should go ahead and already start planning for that. So that's pretty much what I have. And then, of course, the call for paper for OCP closes on 23rd of July. I'm also going to post a link in the chat here, so you don't need to remember any of this. This information is all available. There is also a future technology symposium, which is going to be on day 0 of the event, which is on November 8th. And the idea on the future technology symposium is more to bring academia and research community into the fold with what OCP is doing. So to the extent any of you have connections with the universities, academics, researchers, and if there are some interesting technologies which they are pursuing related to chiplets, related to system architecture, related to packaging, thermal modeling, simulation, so on and so forth, we could consider that as an option as well, in addition to OCP itself, for submission of papers. So please share that information as well with your fellow mates and your contacts. I've posted both the links in the chat, so everyone has access to that. So with that, I'm going to go on pause. I raised few questions. I think we should have maybe a 2-minute discussion on quick thoughts people have, quick suggestions on ideas, and then we can quickly capture them and then have a detailed discussion in subsequent calls. Thoughts, questions, comments? Did I put everyone to sleep nicely?
So
Looks like it, Bapi.
well, in the past, we've had 4 categories or 5 categories of talks: work stream updates, companies doing long talks, lightning presentations, and panels. Sorry, it's 4, not 5. And so the panels have been a huge hit, especially when we've done virtually any panel we've done has been really well received. So if you have some ideas on panels and we can round up people, please speak up now. It takes time to organize these things. And we've typically done, the way we've done panels is we've done a dry run on our weekly Friday meeting and then repeated the panel live, and that's made a huge difference. If your company would like to do a lightning talk. So those are our 4 categories.
Yeah, and one other point I'll make is many of you are either leading substreams or actively involved in specific substreams. I think there are 6, 7, or 8 of them. So please take this opportunity to start planning within your substream, what your substream would like to do in terms of giving an update or more active participation or organize a panel, whatever be the case, right? So I'm available to support any of these conversations, so please feel free to reach out to me, pull me in. And the idea is let's try to have more content presented rather than less in terms of at least submissions. And then we can always pare it down rather than have less upfront and then later on worry about how to fill the slots. Because we can always use all the preparation work you do. We can always use it in many different ways, not just in Global Summit. So for instance, a business work stream had a very good workshop, and as an example, a panel through some of the follow-up work could be an interesting thing, and it matches with what Bapi said, as an example. A link layer is doing a lot of interesting work in terms of protocol development. They could think of presenting a quick update to the community. Bow test chip work or software POC work or even hardware POC, those can also be presented. And then beyond that, we can even think of things like end user panel, where end users can come together, or even HBI, Open HBI can come and give an update. So these are various ideas which are all kind of very varied and scattered all over. But I think we have next month to quickly converge on some organization. So this is your opportunity to push for what you want a community to hear.
Any thoughts for anyone?
One thought that I have is that I think we need to carefully think about what kind of panel that we have, or any kind of activity. Is it something that's kind of supply driven or demand driven? And I have a hard time understanding how to create something unless I know what it's for.
So this is I think, Young, that's a great point, and this is the right forum to talk, discuss, and finalize. We can even have a panel which is actually a mix of both. It doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be demand-driven panel or supply-driven panel. It can be a panel which is representing the entire value chain, which has demand drivers and supply drivers both in the panel. And we can pick a particular topic, and then we can organize a panel around that as well.
Yeah, I agree. And the way that we craft this has to be carefully done. But if it's done properly, it creates a better vision for people. If it's all supply only, just the hardware people getting together about how things connect, no one has any understanding as to what this will be used for. And if it's all demand, then no one understands what to do next. So having a combination of the two would I think be the strongest one. So we would need somebody to represent, or at least speak for, the people who might want to do something like this, a couple of, one or two people, and then a couple of people that can talk about, well, how would that be implemented?
Completely agree.
Nick Iliadis here. So I'm willing to participate or work on a panel. I don't have, unfortunately, the bandwidth to do any kind of presentations or papers, but I would be able to participate in a panel or be part of a panel, or organizing. So you want to take me down as a first volunteer?
Yeah, that's awesome, Nick. So Nick, as Young mentioned, the panel has aspects on all value chain, demand and supply. Is there one particular side of the equation you want to try to help, or do you want to take ownership of all, or what are further thoughts on that? Or do you want to work with?
Obviously, I work at a chronic semiconductor FPGA supplier. So I'm obviously looking at it from in the FPGA space. What are chiplets? Are they enabling not only different types of platforms, but also do we have chiplets that go to other companies as product, right? So that's kind of the angle I'm coming at from. I don't know how.
Okay, got it. So one suggestion I have is, usually the redundancy is always good. So is there somebody else who would like to work alongside with Nick? So it will be like a two-in-a-box Intel kind of a model to organize the panel. Anybody wants to raise their hand, work with Nick, because it's always good to have two people rather than one.
I agree. That's load balancing, and just in case something happens.
Somebody is on PTO. A lot of things can happen, right? So you want to keep. So anybody wants to work with Nick on panel? How about you, Young?
I can help him as well.
Oh, Mudassir. Okay, sure. Yeah. Perfect. That's awesome. So I think
I don't mind helping, but my part of Samsung actually doesn't make the chiplets. It deals with the storage.
Yeah, but Young, it'll be nice to have an application. I feel like once we do the storage architecture workshop, we need a follow-on panel in November. So
okay, I'm willing to participate, but I don't know which part of the equation I really fit in here.
So maybe a good idea for us is to organize, just think about how we want our panels to relate to one another. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Bapi, another one. I don't know if it's better for panel or paper format, but like I would like to do something on energy efficiency of chiplets, power efficiency and energy efficiency.
Okay.
Yeah, I think topic, what you should do is, I think you should definitely think of a little bit aware of what you're doing, right? So one area would be, it would be really helpful if you can submit an abstract for sure, you know, with OCP before 23rd of July.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. You don't think panel is appropriate for that topic? Also?
No, I think let's look at Nick and Mudassir to start noodling on what the panel would look like, what the topic. Of course, we are all collectively shaping it, but since Nick and Mudassir are, let them have a little bit of discussion with themselves, then I'm sure they'll come back with some ideas, and then we can sharpen the ideas. So I would table the discussion of panel, you know, for future calls. That's all, because we need to quickly go through other aspects.
Dharmesh and Becky, unfortunately, I have another call I got to jump on at here. Can somebody reach out to me afterwards and we can just have an offline discussion on what exactly the all options are.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and
so
everybody feel free to reach out to Nick and Mudassir for more discussion. And then what I would suggest, Bapi, is in 2 weeks' time, let's have Nick and Mudassir present a straw man idea of what the panel is looking like. Just like 5-minute conversation, get feedback from everyone. And of course, we'll shape it based on what we hear, but let them at least have first cut at what they are thinking.
yeah, I was going to say, I think yes, something along those lines where for the next few, or at least for the next 2 to 3 months, we'll make the workshop agenda a standing work item. And if you have an idea for a panel, I think DJ's suggestion of putting a slide together is a good one, is the right one. So put some ideas together. Who will participate? What's the objective of the panel? Who you think you can get to participate, and we can refine it as we go along.
All right, guys, I got to drop off. Yeah, I won't be able to join next week. I'm going to be on an airplane. But
all right.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, bye-bye.
So to that question, Bapi, on is it a panel, and to Young's point that we need to show an application pull as well as a technology push.
Yes.
Is the words like I guess I'm rewording what Young said. Correct me if I'm wrong, Young. And so I'm wondering whether you want to start the entire session with a system perspective. Sorry, I'm on my same mantra here, where we actually outline an application. So Young obviously provided a nice one there on the storage side, but we can look at it from a specific application need, and at the same time we can show the technology push of what you guys are up to can actually play into that application pull. If we started the session with something like that, and then that panel or the panel session could try and pull these pieces together of everything that's presented in the day, can we come up with an semblance of a strategy? Is it a sort of a workshop approach? Are we just presenting to people, or are we sort of debating on how to really align the stars here?
I think that's actually a really good start. What I would say though is maybe what we should start with is why does ODSA exist at all, right? There's some problem that an end user is trying to overcome, and I think maybe a good clear problem statement would be a good way to kick off a panel like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my perspective on it is it's all about picojoules per bit and moving data around, as well as that's one of the big issues, and standardization, so that we can get to high volume at a chiplet level. As you integrate all the chiplets together into one piece of silicon, you shrink your market down and down and down and down. And as you amplify up into multiple chiplets, each chiplet suddenly has much bigger volumes, much lower cost basis, much more composability in terms of, well, composability is a challenging one there with the chiplet approach. But
so I agree with what you're saying, but what I'm trying to get at is I don't understand why there's a problem to start with. And you know, picojoules per bit is not really a problem statement. It's more an incarnation of what's really happening, right? So somewhere along the line, a customer has said, "I'm having a problem," and when they get down to it, they realize it's picojoules per bit. But there's a higher level problem here that we're trying to overcome, and I'd like a good statement about what that is.
Yeah. Well, yes, I completely agree. I mean, it comes down to we're in a data-centric world, and we need higher bandwidth to massive amounts of storage and memory, and when you look at that, if you analyze the power consumption of these big devices, it's the I/O power that seems to consume a big chunk of it, and it's getting worse pretty rapidly.
Yeah, I agree definitely with that, and so I'd love someone to come up with a very clear statement on that.
Young, we way back in 19 and 20, we spent a lot of cycles on that, and maybe it's good for a refresher. And the specific motivation was that data centers are shifting, or the compute world is shifting to domain-specific architectures, and domain-specific architectures, by their very definition, each served a narrower market, but demanded high performance. And so, if you wanted a cost-effective approach to rapidly deploying, creating and deploying domain-specific architectures, chiplets were the natural way to do so. And sort of that was our sort of foundational charter, that there's going to be a shift towards domain-specific architectures, and if you want to enable those,
a good beginning statement. I think that's a great way to start it.
I think one of the big issues that I think you can divide this work group into two completely different pieces, and that is the very dense chiplets, you know, 3Ds, 2.5Ds, silicon interposers, where really you are focusing majorly on that optimization in connecting different dies like memory dies, storage dies with processor dies, etc., and getting that tight coupling and maximum bandwidth around there. And that's really the purview of the real silicon and foundry specialists. And then there is the system level aspect of, well, I've got to get 200 terabytes into this thing at 200 terabytes per second, and you're not going to do that in a chiplet.
Right.
So you've got to find a low power way of getting to that as well. And so maybe there is a couple of streams on this. Is the big boys, the big money, and the big markets like an iPhone type market, and the rest of it, the systems world. And as I've said a number of times on this call, is we're focused on standardization. You know, when it comes to the big boys, they're going to do what they're going to do. They don't need standards. They got enough money, enough of a business opportunity to do a specialization of their own. But if we're enabling the world to do this, then we want to be focusing on that other aspect, on the standards for everybody to participate and be compatible with each other.
Okay, so in terms of the workshop, I think, Alan, you got a good point, and maybe if you can put together as a good these are the actions I've captured. I've captured, Alan, your idea of should we start like with a systems perspective panel, and in terms of actions, what I have is, if you have an idea for a panel, and DJ, when's the deadline again? I'm sorry.
23rd of July. But Bapi, what we will do is let's gather let's gather the proposal which Nick and Mudassir come up with in 2 weeks' time, working with everybody else with all the input, and then we will push for the panel and a separate track for ODSA, and we will try to close it by mid-July.
Right.
So why don't you put 15th of July as the deadline?
So we have two things, right? I think we want people to share ideas for papers, work stream updates. Please begin planning work stream leaders, I guess.
So Bapi, I was thinking maybe business work group can bring an update, I was just chatting with Modestar on privately, but another thing we can think of is we are working on this chiplet cost model and known good die, and maybe some of those topic and some other topic, but I need to discuss with the in the meeting with
Excellent.
the rest of the folks.
Excellent. I think that
Yeah,
would be just peachy.
yeah. I think so. The way we want to look at it is abstract submission deadline. Can you put it as July 23rd? So actually put it before July 23rd. It's better if we put something. I'm looking at your notes which you are capturing, right? So why don't you put July 16th? Because internally, let's keep it a little bit closer, right? And then we have to decide on the panel, and we have to also talk about work stream updates. So work stream updates will be by default. This would be not, we would like it to be by default, meaning every work stream can give an update. They have first right of refusal if they don't want to, but the ideal situation is every work stream should be giving at least a 5-minute update, if not more, right? So that goes without saying. Every work stream should start thinking of that because we want community to know what each work stream is doing. And this is the best forum to do. So beyond that, Ravi, what I would suggest is when Nick and Mudassir are, formalizing panel, there should be some angle on the business side which can be added in terms of bringing a panelist in there or adding questions in there. And all of that logistics we can work out later. But just to give everyone an idea that panel is an opportunity for all work streams to contribute, not just a specific area we are focusing. So everyone is.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so please, we're going to hit this over and over again for the next few weeks until we get it right. And usually that pays off. Finally, lightning talks. They're a huge hit. People come and refer to these lightning talks after the fact. I've seen quite a few references. So if you'd like to give one, I can certainly confirm to you that people pay. There's some audience attention to it. Okay, wonderful. Let me just go around the horn for.
So Bapi, one quick, I talked about survey, but we have few people here. What does everyone think about having a social hour the evening before? Any quick comments, thoughts? Good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a great idea.
Great idea.
Yep.
Okay, everyone
Well,
is
so by
interested.
then everyone is vaccinated, and no one minds being too close with each other.
As long as there's free booze, I'm in.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Kevin?
maybe we should.
It sounds like
Maybe
there's
if we
enough
can
interest
make it,
you can offer it.
vaccination required, that would give people a little bit more peace of mind.
I think
Okay.
that the people who would be risking themselves would be those without vaccinations, right? So everyone can decide whether they want to go or not.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
but you can say, you can make it mandatory to be vaccinated to participate. This way, like if I want to participate, I know at least everybody else is vaccinated, so I'm not as worried.
I would imagine that one thing that OCP should do prior to this conference is come up with a position on how we should deal with socializing, because it should be consistent throughout the entire conference, right?
Yeah, it will be consistent across the conference, but social events, people might have slightly different approach. But I think Tawfiq's suggestion is actually a very valid and a fair suggestion. We can make it as a self-declaration that people have to just say, yes, I have been vaccinated, and then they can register for the social event. Okay. It can be a preliminary question where you just have to self-declare. We are not going to go about verifying people. People have to be obviously authentic and honest about it. So once they say, yes, I'm vaccinated, then the next, screen could be registered for the social event.
TJ, is there any position that the foundation's taking for Global Summit on vaccinations? My point is that we should just follow whatever guidance is coming from there.
Yes, I already agreed to that. We should follow that. I think I don't know about the vaccine part. Let me find out, Kevin and Tawfiq, and I will give an update to the group next week.
Yeah, I'm actually partially trying to protect the conference itself because you know how legal matters can get. If somebody winds up catching it there and then going home with it, and we made no attempt to say you have to be vaccinated, people can get in trouble, and I don't want that.
Okay, so very quick update on that. All attendees will be required to follow guidelines set forth by CDC and local governments at that time. Obviously, that's a mandatory. For example, you have to wear masks at all times. Those who have been vaccinated and can show proof may not require masks. So I think the bottom line is OCP will for sure follow CDC and local government guidelines. I don't think OCP is going to come up with its own separate guidelines because that's the way it goes. Everybody follows local government guidelines. So I think we should fairly assume that vaccine is needed for gathering. I'm assuming that's CDC guidelines that in closed rooms, people who are vaccinated can gather and they don't need masks. I believe that's a guidance for CDC.
Okay. So it turns out that because we don't have the workshop, we have 625 open. So I'd suggest that everybody who's interested in has ideas, please come with something on 625 in 2 weeks. And we can sort of assemble a mini program and see what we have on the table.
Ideas you mean for presentation on 625?
Ideas for either a talk or a panel.
Okay.
So not even the abstract, just a one-liner. We kind of says, okay, I want to talk about this, or we're going to have a panel on this, and these are the people I think will participate. These are the kinds of people we want. So we can assemble. We at least see what we have to a first order, and then refine it a bit by 7:15.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Right. Okay. Then the last one is: anybody interested in taking minutes for the next meeting? Anyone want to volunteer? Okay, I'm going to find names before the next meeting. So, but it would be nice to have more people, more different perspectives on our notes. So I will probably ask you offline. Okay, let me do Kevin, Ravi, any opens?
Nope. Good.
Oh, not you, Kevin, the other Kevin Cameron, sorry. But thank you though.
No open from my side, Bapi.
Oh, not even you, Ravi, the other Ravi. Today we
Oh,
have
wow.
Kevin and Ravi.
Unless, well, you said Ravi, right?
I did. It's funny. I didn't realize we had two Ravis and two Kevins online. There is
Yeah,
a
you're
regular.
talking about me from
Yes.
meeting notes. What do you want me to do
No, do you have any
this
opens?
meeting?
No, do you have any opens or any opens at all that you? Usually, every once in a while, we get a chance to just go around asking if anybody has any topics, opens, ideas for topics for a Friday meeting. Any opens about anything at all?
We could talk about the storage stuff a little bit. Probably
Okay.
next meeting.
Probably in.
But we do have the Tuesday meetings for that.
We still have a Tuesday meetings for that. But
yeah.
we're sort of, there's openings starting August July 30th. So if you have any topics,
Well, we could take up the storage as a domain-specific thing on the software
okay.
side to see how it goes. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great.
Kevin Cameron, anything on your mind? Tawfiq Mudassir?
No open on my side.
Nothing from my
The
side either.
focus here is on the business side, right?
Sorry, Ravi?
The focus is on the business side of it.
No, just anything at all. This is literally, I'm just doing a call for, usually it's literally anything on your mind. If you want a new topic, no particular focus on anything chiplets related.
All right. Yeah, we could do the application we talked about. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could talk about
Anything
that.
chiplets or accelerator related.
A short presentation or something like that for
Sure.
a couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And end of July works.
Yeah, definitely.
Thomas Michael? Anything on your minds? Quinn, Ravi's already. Go ahead, Michael.
I'm still, figuring out what is going on. I recently joined this group.
Okay.
Personally, I'm very interesting about, those composable, the memory for the data center business, like the memory pooling, gigantic way, like especially this day, CX is, it's getting popular, and then now we can effectively create the massive memory pool for the data center business. So like, into one rack, you can make it as just a memory pool, and then through this CX interface, all the other the compute server or networking server can dynamically expand their memory. That's not available in today, but now we can think toward that direction. That is actually along with the islands idea. So I thought about that direction actually. Yeah.
Okay. Is there do you know anybody, or would you like to do a talk on that, or would you like to? Is there something you think we should be doing around that? I'm asking, not commenting.
I think Alan, I saw Alan's some presentation, the slide from the HPC. Those are actually pretty. To me, it's very, very interesting. Maybe we can expand from there. So that was my thinking right now.
Okay. Because we did.
You've got a slot for me, haven't you, Bappy, on the 16th, I believe. So I'll be giving this group a bit of an update on our OCP HPC efforts, Michael, along those lines.
Yeah, on 16th, and memory has been a running topic, Michael. If we can get more people, panelists, companies, I think it'd be good. Just as memory pooling, HBM packaging, you name it.
Actually, I needed more time. Again, I just joined, so I'm kind of figuring out what is going on here.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We just want to let you know that the door's open anytime you're ready.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Quinn's already said no. Kevin's no. David and Ravi's also. Ravi, do you have anything, or Ravi or David? Ravi Agarwal.
Bapi, I already speak up. I said no, I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither at this time, but
okay,
we'll give it some thought.
Elko, Scott, anything on your minds?
Oh, I was just waiting to see if the other Elko would answer. Nothing on my mind.
Yeah.
Nothing for either. Bobby, you seem to be asking for volunteers on Friday morning. You should try that on on Monday morning. You may get better success.
Yeah, no, we have the amount of volunteerism that we already have in flight is amazing. It's saying our group is blessed with really good participation in volunteers. So, Gus, DJ, Scott?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
No, nothing on my side.
I think I heard you, Scott, already. I think. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Young Shahab, anything on your minds?
Yeah, I just want to suggest that a panel for summit on the basically optical link chiplets, if there is room for it. We can invite people from Broadcom, Avicina, Renovus, and they all have chiplets, which is basically fiber optic communication. We can invite.
Okay, let me write that
Yeah,
down.
that's a good idea. I like that idea. And there's some interesting companies, like you said, right? Broadcom.
I know all those guys. I can invite them.
So is it about like silicon photonic, that direction?
Yes.
Fiber optic, I see. Okay.
What was the third company you said? You said Broadcom, Avicina. What was the third one?
It's Renovus and IR Labs. I think there are a lot of people that we can invite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely idea.
I mean,
All right.
there's guys focused on, network intra data center stuff, and there's guys focused on more short reach processor to processor, processor to memory.
Right. Okay. Hey, Elko, I was hoping Bill would be here today. I thought, one of the things we should get is some summary overview of ECTC sometime in, either late July or August, if we can. There seem to be a lot of interesting stuff there.
Yeah, that's true. That we could, I can talk to him and see if he would be willing to put something together.
Yeah, or nominate someone,
Right.
anything, either one.
Okay. And there's IMAPS has a quote unquote SIP conference coming up as well.
Right.
In
Okay.
August.
Yeah, some sort of summary of back from the packaging world would be good.
Okay, let me talk to him.
Thanks. Alan, anything on your mind?
No, I'm good, thanks.
All right, and then we have you up for memory soon. And in that case, everyone, oh, I thought I'd give you back way more of your time. Happy 4 minutes on Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
See you, Bobby. Have a good weekend. Thanks.